I can identify the domain and range of a function. Vocabulary. Domain is your X values. It is the first number in an ordered pair. Your range are your Y values. They are the second number in an ordered pair. We have a list of 4 ordered pairs here, and it wants us to list the domain and range. The way they like you to do it is that they be in ascending order. So I'm going to try to do that. The smallest number in the X values is -1, then 0, then 1, and then 2. Those are your X values, so they are your domain. Next, I'm going to go through and list the Y values. The smallest one is -3. Then we have 2 3s, but I only have to write 1. And we have a 5. So that's how you list the domain and the range. Be very careful when you're doing this and somehow mark them so you know which you've used and which you haven't. This says write out the points or line up the points on the respective X or Y axis to determine what the domain and the range is. So I'm going to show you both ways just to see which one you like better. This point here is -1, 2, 3, 4. It's -4, -1. And then this point right here is -1, -1. So I'm just going to list them. Up here is -2, +3. And then these over here, I'm going to start with this one, which is 2, +2, +3, and then 3, +1, and 1, 2, 3, 4, -3. So if you want your domain, that would be -4. I'm going to put them in ascending order. These are the X values. -2, -1, 2, 3, and 4. And if you want your range, those are the Y values. I'm going to start with the smallest, which is -3. There's 2 -1s, so I'm going to write it once. Then there's a 1 and 2 3s, so I'm only going to write it once. So that's your domain and your range. That is one way to do this if you want to do that. What I would do is different. When I'm looking for the domain, I look at the X axis because domain is X and I start at the left. So right here is the X value of that point, which is -4. You can follow along with what I've already written. Then here, if we come down here, is the X value, which is -2. And here is the X value, which is -1. If you notice, I have all of those. Now let's come to this side. That's an X value 2, an X value of 3, and an X value of 4, which I also have listed. So that's the way that I do it. Now you can also look at the Y axis and start at the bottom and go up. For the Y axis, this point at the bottom, its X or value is here, which is -3. Then for these 2 points, their X value is at -1. Then for this point, your X value is at 1. And for these 2 points up here, their X value is 3. So you notice it matches either way you do it. That's your preference. I would do it both ways to make sure. This says select each table that represents a relation with a domain of -3, 1, and 6. So those are X values, correct? We can't have anything more than that, and we can't be missing any. So in this first box, it also has a 0, so that means it is not a choice. The next one has a -3, 2 1s, and a 6, so that does have that domain. The next one has a -3, a -1, which is not part of the domain, so we're not going to choose that. The next one has a -1, again, which is not part of the domain, so we are not choosing that. And the last one has a -3, a 1, and 2 6s. That does match the domain. So we have 2 answers there. This says a relation is graphed as shown. What is the range of this relation? So they're looking for y values. Again, you can list out all the points and pick the y's, but I'm going to use the axis method. So I'm going to look and see where do they land on this y-axis. For this first point at the bottom, it's at a -3. Well, every one of my choices has a -3, so I'm going to put a dot by it. This next one is at -2, so I'm going to put dots by anything that has a -2, and I'm already going to mark out A because it doesn't. The next one, its y value is a 1, so I'm going to continue looking for anything that has a 1. Okay, we have a 1 here. And then the next one is a 3, so I'm going to look for a 3, found it, and the last one is a 4. So that means the only one with all of the points is D. And that's the end of that section.